Irashaimase! Hello and welcome to Fitaurus Kitchen. I'm your host, Chef Fitaurus. It's time once again for Shoot 'em Up Saturday, and on the menu this Saturday, we've got Twinbee, Konami's classic for the Famicom. Originally released in arcades by Konami back in 1985, this title's actually remained relatively unknown in the Western markets for pretty much 20 years. It did go and receive a release in Europe on the MSX back in 1986, but after that point it didn't go and see a Western release until being included on Konami Collections for the DS back in 2007. It's a super popular title in Japan that's actually spawned a good number of sequels as well as a lot of spin-offs, including even an RPG on the PlayStation. So what kind of taste will this cute classic go and have? Let's get cooking and find out. Alright, here we are at the start screen for Konami's 1986 classic Twinbee. So this is the Famicom port. It doesn't really go and give you much in the way of options at the start screen. You have the ability to go and select set 2 players or 1 player. It is 2 players simultaneous, so that's definitely a plus in its favor, something that wasn't necessarily very common, especially for home ports of this era. For today, I'm going to go and be playing it single player though. Let's get cooking! So here we are at the first stage of Twinbee, going and piloting, well, the Twinbee. We've got 2 basic forms of attack. We've got our straight shot, and we've got bombs, which can be used to go and destroy ground enemies like this little bamboo shoot over here. Twinbee does go and possess a power-up system. These bells that we can shoot out of the clouds, as you're going and shooting them, they'll go and change color. And depending on what we want, you have to keep on shooting it till you go and get the desired color, and then you can go and get the desired power-up. I kind of botched it there. I was almost to what I wanted, but then I accidentally picked it up. The bells also go and act as a fairly awesome point system as well. As you go and collect bells, if you're able to go and keep the bells, or collect the bells without going and letting any fall off the screen, the point values of the bells you go and collect go and increase. So if you're looking for a high score, that's definitely the way to go and do it. There's also points that the enemies that we destroy on the ground go and drop, and it's possible that they might also go and have items that we can go and use. Specifically, there's a candy. Oh, if your arms get shot, you don't initially die. The first time you get a rescue that you can go and repair your arms. Sweet, candy. So, 3-way shot. Very, very useful. If you get shot by the enemies, unlike a lot of this era's shoot 'em ups, you don't necessarily die right away. Instead, you go and lose your arms. And if it's the first time, there's a rescue that goes and comes that can go and repair your arms one time. However, if you happen to lose them again, you're kind of out of luck, which is unfortunate. I don't think I'm going to get what I want out of this bell. So if you keep on shooting bells, they eventually transform into just an item that you can shoot for big points like that. I think it's the same point value as if you're going and collecting a max point bell, so it's not half bad. The bosses, if you're powered up, aren't too particularly difficult, but they can be a little bit rough if you're at base power, as speed and shots are definitely crucial. So, one thing I haven't mentioned yet, but you might have noticed, is the enemies are definitely not your standard shoot-em-up fare. I dare say you can go and possibly... I don't know if that way just went and lost the... Oh, dang it. You could definitely go and say that Twinbee is probably the first or one of the earliest versions of a game in the shoot-em-up subgenre cute-em-up. Just because everything is like cute, anthropomorphic. The first stage we're going and fighting fruit and produce. This stage we're going and fighting basically like kitchen implements, bowls and silverware, that sort of thing. The third stage, we're going and fighting like various like sea creatures. The fourth stage, I think it's like electrical appliances. It's kind of a bizarre
set of enemies for this type of a title. But that's one of the things that I go and love so much about the shoot 'em up genre as is. It can go and be zany, it can go and be fun, it can all go and like keep itself fresh, even like with a classic like this one. So I've never gotten to play the original arcade port, though the 3DS's 3D Classics Twinbee apparently is a port of not the Famicom version, but the actual arcade version. So they're similar, but the biggest differences would go and be, of course, graphic fidelity, as well as you go and lose the full vertical scrolling that you go and have with the original. There we go, that's what I want, red. That you go and have with the original arcade cabinet. So red is the shield. So if I had to go and pick my optimum setup for my ship in Twinbee, it would go and be shields with maybe 1 speed power up, possibly 2, we'll go with this one, and the 3-way shot. So as I mentioned, if you're going for a high score, which, since this is an early arcade-based shoot-'em-up, is really all you can go and do. Best way to go about it, just go and make sure none of those bells drop and you're collecting them for points once you're powered up. The game itself, though, as you go and progress, just goes in loops and gets progressively harder. I believe, at least on the 3DS version, my record is going and making it through 3 loops before I finally died. That was definitely a good, satisfying day. My point total was also insane, but in that version, the bells don't top out at 10,000 points. They go all the way up to 125,000 points. So it can definitely go and be huge. Anyway, that'll go and just about wrap it up for today's episode of Shoot 'em Up Saturday. Just a quick look at the classic, rather largely unknown in the Western region, Shoot 'em Up Twinbee. So here we are getting assaulted by crabs. I want to thank you, as always, for going and coming out to join me for Shoot 'em Up Saturday. If you go and have other Shoot 'em Ups that you'd go and like me to have a look at, or other games that you would like to go and suggest to me, by all means, please go and leave those in the comments below. Anyway, once again, thank you so much for coming out and joining me today for Shoot 'em Up Saturday, and I hope to go and see you again next week.